What's up, YouTube? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Nathaniel back with another video, and today I'll be starting a new series that will be called Revert Reflections. And in this series, I'm going to be looking at the translation, the transliteration version, the English version of the Quran, and just my interpretations and reflections as it relates to me getting to understand God more and me just wanting to kind of share my thoughts. I know that there are probably plenty other reverts out there who maybe struggle with their faith, much like myself. And, struggle is often a good thing because it means that you could always refine and get better, and that you humble yourself to the Most High right through your mistakes. And not to say just because you're a revert, you're going to be struggling strictly because of that matter, but again, I just want to kind of share my knowledge, my wisdom and understanding, and the inspiration from the Most High. And again, just kind of share my reflections as it relates to me growing in my faith. And hopefully it helps you, wherever you are with your faith and whatever your situation is right now. So today we're going to be looking, at a chapter, at some ayahs. And essentially this is going to be, the challenging path to good. And as I just even reflect on that subtitle for the verses that I'm going to be reading, isn't it interesting that that is the choice of words for the subtitle? Again, the challenging path of good. And to me, becoming a Muslim, my expectations were obviously, I thought dramatically my life was going to change from a spiritual perspective and being more righteous and among those who are righteous. And obviously we're taught that, all other Muslims are better than us when it comes to practicing their deen and their faith, right? So for me, seeing the mannerisms of the people who inspired me and who the Most High placed there to inspire me, I really thought that my life was just going to be dramatically changing, and I was going to be very much more righteous and pious and things of that nature. And obviously that's not the case for those of us who are, studious as it comes to the religion and what is taught. And, often you're going to be tested even more. There's going to be more trials, tribulations that are thrown at those who are like myself, who revert, who come back to their faith. And again, like I heard something pretty interesting today about gap and gain, and the perspective on the two. And gap is more so looking at it from where you're at now and where you believe you should be, versus gain, which is essentially what have you gained along the journey. And I think we always have to kind of reverse engineer when we're thinking about these type of things, right? Like you want to look at your life from a gain perspective. What have you gained along the journey? So although, I'm not as pious as I want to be, I'm not as righteous as I want to be, and I'm constantly refining, I'm constantly repenting and asking for forgiveness, the path to good is very challenging. And it's supposed to be like that for a specific reason, a specific design, as we'll read here. But I want you guys to first and foremost understand that this path to where you want to get to in terms of piety, being righteous, being more uplifting, serving others, these things, it's going to be more challenging because, Most High will allow Satan to whisper, and those whispers will grow from a seed into something that will get planted if you don't dismiss it right away, if you don't submit when you hear these whispers to the Most High. And I suffer with this all the time, right? In terms of the whispers. Not only that, but your nafs, right? Your own flesh. And it has its own desires that it wants to accomplish. And not only that, Satan has his minions, the jinn. He has those people that will come to you or not come to you, but, these other working entities that will come at you and try to bring you down. So it is a struggle to be good. it is a challenge to be good. And I want you guys to understand that you're going to be challenged even more so than when you weren't living a life of piety, or you weren't trying to obtain those things that would lead you closer to the Most High. And again, we're going to get into the verses here, but I want you guys to really understand that, much like I want myself to understand that. When I talk to other people, or I talk obviously through the camera, I'm really talking to myself. It's similar to these affirmations that we're told, that could really help change the DNA structure of your body and your mindset and things of that nature, right? So it's really more so me talking to you, but me talking to myself too. So we'll get into it right now, but I do want you guys to understand that there is going to be a huge test and challenge constantly. It's not going to be a one-off. It's not going to be a 10-off. It's going to be constantly every single day. And I cannot tell you when it's going to stop, because it might not ever stop. But again, that's why we have repentance, and that's why the Most High He's always here. He's always favoring us. He's always in our corner. So let me get into it. If only they had attempted the challenging path of goodness instead. And what will make you realize what attempting the challenging path is? It is to free a slave, or to give food in times of famine to an orphan relative, or to a poor person in distress. Now I'm going to pause here. If you notice something, when we're talking about the challenging path and what I had just read here, more so the path to goodness is serving others. Often we think that it's about us and how we're supposed to be acting and how we're supposed to be uplifting and we're supposed to be this, that, and the third. But generally, the route to goodness, the path to goodness, God often speaks, as I, read the Quran more and more and more so about charity, right? Your alms tax, feeding the poor, feeding the orphans, feeding your relatives, helping your relatives. It more so has to do with serving others and then come back to yourself. So step one is to serve others. You find fulfillment, you find joy, but not only that, you find grace from the Most High more. You find mercy from the Most High when you are serving others. And obviously you're collecting those good deeds that on the day of judgment hopefully will benefit you. Hopefully will benefit you. So I want you guys to understand that. And I'll reread this again. And what will make you realize what attempting the challenging path is? It is to free a slave, or to give food in times of famine to an orphaned relative, or to a poor person in distress. Again, thinking and doing and serving others. And above all, to be one of those who have faith and urge each other to perseverance and urge each other to compassion. So again, what is this talking about? Again, it's talking about helping other people out. Many times we go through hardship. Many times we go through distress. Many times we go through depression. And what we often try to do is we often try to take on these things by ourselves. The Most High doesn't require you to do that. The remedies are very simple. They're not made difficult. They're made very simple for those who are paying attention and those who understand what's being asked of you. Often I was telling my boy this, what I find most comforting when I'm going through stress, when I'm going through times of difficulty, when I'm faced with trials and tribulations of hardship, it's me picking up the phone and calling, my good friends, calling my family members and just checking in and seeing how they're doing. And it goes such a long way, because these conversations might last 2 to 3 hours of, us catching up and everything like that. And it just simply started with me genuinely wanting to know how they're doing. And often it makes me feel better. And I want you guys to understand that fulfillment doesn't come from yourself. You could get all the wealth and amass all the wealth that you want. You could build a top business in your industry. You could have plenty of this and plenty of that. But I'm telling you, that is a short-term gain. And often the Satan, he'll whisper these things, making you desire these things, these more selfish things. But it's when you become selfless that you really start to understand and experience true gratification, and how thankful you are that you're in a position to help these people and to serve these people. And with that comes return of good deeds and good fortune for yourself. Not only here in this life, but in the hereafter, which is the most important. Because you got to think, if you live for 100 years and this earth has been around for 1 billion years, how long really do you have on this earth? What's your span of the true timeline of the earth? What, 0.0001234, whatever? I don't know. But it's a lot of zeros in the way. So you're really only here for a blip of time, although it feels like eternity, although it feels like a struggle constantly. Again, it's because we're filled with selfish temptations, mainly around wealth and acquiring wealth and money. That's number one thing. But what we really need to focus our attention to is how we can impact and how we can help others, whether it be close to us, whether it be people on the streets. Many times, you hear comments like, oh, I can't stand the bums downtown. I live in Toronto, so, there's a lot of homeless people there, unfortunately. And, you hear things like, oh, get this bum away from me, or get away from me, And all you really need to do, if you have it, is give them $2, $3, however much change you have, $5, $10, whatever the case is. And just know that you're doing it for the sake of God. Let everything else fall where it may. Whatever that person does with the money, that's not on you. Your relationship here that you're building is with the Most High. So you must keep that in mind when you're giving. It's not a matter of doing it for yourself or what the other person's going to do with what you give them. It's more so, where are your intentions? Are they on the right things when you're doing this? Are they genuine? Again, the Most High doesn't require a lot. He only requires a little bit, but it's often the same things that he repeats over and over and over again. And again, it's so challenging for us because we have these whispers of Satan. We have, not only the whispers in our head, but the whispers in the heads of other people who may not be as spiritually strong as us. And now they're tempting us. And they're fulfilling our heads with things that, are unworldly or more so worldly, maybe selfish, maybe unruly, wicked, things of this nature, right? So it's not only that you're dealing with yourself, you might be dealing with people around you who are filling up your head with this stuff because they're not as spiritually strong to recognize, when the Satan, when their flesh, when the jinn are really, really trying to provoke them, because maybe they can't get to you directly, right? So he's always going to use other people around you. So I'll continue on here. These are the people of the right. As for those who deny our signs, they are the people of the left. The fire will be sealed over them. Again, as I think of the subtitle of this, again, the challenging path of good. What does that mean, from the other perspective, or the alternate way of thinking? That the path to evil is easy. It's easier to be evil, conniving. You listen to the Satan. Listen to the temptations of the worldly desires and everything that social media is throwing at you, everything that you're seeing around you. It's so easy to be evil. It's so easy to be on the unrighteous path. But it's that gratification you get from working, from, putting in the blood, sweat, and tears, as we say. I'm a former athlete. There's nothing more gratifying than achieving your goals because you put in the work behind the scenes. I won all the accolades growing up. Athlete of the year, offensive player of the year for 2 sports, high-end athlete, played 2 elite sports, at the top level, captain for both teams. And I'll tell you, man, it was only because of the work I was putting in behind the scenes. Constantly training 5 days a week in high school, not going out, not drinking, not smoking, not doing that stuff, not having sex with women, none of that stuff. I was completely focused on my craft, and I understood what was at risk if I let that focus slip. And through the grace of the Most High, I was able to keep that focus immensely and accomplish all my goals. But there were so many trials and tribulations behind the scenes that nobody saw. All they saw was me on game day performing. But they didn't see me fail in the gym time and time again. They didn't see me, throwing up after an intense workout. They didn't see me quit and say, I can't go no more. These things help me build character. These things help me build long-term gratification. And I thank God so much because, again, it was a challenging path, but the results were just so much more gratifying. And it's similar to what this verse is talking about. Again, in that case, I'm more so doing these things for myself, but my mentality was, I got to be the best I could be so I could have opportunity to play pros, so I could take care of my family. So again, my intentions were to serve others always. It was to show the world that I have the best trainer in the world. It was to show the world that, the love, support that I get doesn't go unnoticed because it's pushed me that much harder in the gym. So guys and women, this is not going to be easy, this path to goodness. But I want you to know that the Most High is there for you, and He has solutions. He has solutions, and they're very simple. But we got to get out our own way. We got to recognize when the Satan is trying to plant those seeds in us for us to have selfish, worldly desires, and understand that it's most important about serving people, being compassionate to people, giving to people. Those things are going to lead you to the easy path. So with that being said, I just want to say that this is the first of, inshallah, hopefully many Revert reflections of me just talking about the Quran and, my interpretation on certain verses that are clear and how we can utilize them in our day-to-day. So I hope that helps you guys, man. I'll see you guys in the next video, and all the best till next time. Peace.